Alright, this is the top of our drum. This is what we're storing the oil in. Alright, what we're doing here is we have a regulator. I was trying to use a needle valve, but I couldn't control the pressure, just the flow. So what I did is I regulated it. I can turn it up to 10 pounds per square inch. And this tube hooked to this hose goes down, not quite to the bottom of the drum. That way I'm not picking anything up off the bottom. No water or anything like that. If I've got a little water in there, it's already been separated out. And then I'm going to blow it into the filter tank. And this regulator keeps the pressure low enough so my barrels don't explode. I've got a couple barrels that are heaped, the tops are just rounded right off where I put 20-30 pounds in them, and they don't like it. So we're regulating it at about 10 pounds, and we just let the compressor kick on and off. And then when the compressor runs wide open for an extended period of time, we know the tanks, or we know the dip tube has stopped drawing. This system here also doesn't cause any turbulence in the bottom of the tank. And we don't want anything stirred up, because the less stuff we have to start filtering, the less stuff we have to filter overall. So in the beginning, you take a 2/3 or maybe 3/4 off of this tank, you're fine. Okay, now what we're doing is we're pumping the dirty oil out of the drum. We're going to turn the regulator on. The compressor's going to kick on, but we're going to turn this regulator up about 10 pounds. We don't want to blow this top up, so we're only going to go so much. This is a 100 micron filter sock that we use to filter out solids before they go into the centrifugal filter. Cigarette butts, french fries, dough, batter, whatever. We run it through there before we run it through anything else to save wear and tear in our gear. Now what we're doing is we're using that pressure to push that oil up out of there. And this is a 100 micron filter sock, and the oil is actually flowing. You can see the oil flowing out and into the sock, and it's going into the processor. And when it's done, the compressor will just be blowing air through that hose, and it's going to run constantly. But right now it's just going to kick on and off a couple times over the course of the next half an hour or so. And then this will be full enough, and once it reaches 185 degrees, we're going to start the centrifuge and knock the solids out of the oil so we can use it for fuel. Thanks. Alright, this is the lid for the centrifuge. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to expose the centrifuge. This is the part that spins in the centrifuge when the pressure comes in up through the center, through this tube right here where the nut goes on. And these brass holes right here, the jets, they're pointed 180 degrees out from each other, so it spins. And then we're going to pull this apart. I'm going to show you what's inside the centrifuge, all the sludge from a run. We're going to pull the nut off the top of the centrifuge so we can pull this thing apart here. There's a bearing, it's oilite, like a brass bronze bushing. There's another one down here. And that's what it spins on. The oil comes up through the tube in the bottom. Actually, you want to come apart. There it goes. And we open it up. It's going to slobber a bit. Okay, we've got some solids inside here. But the solids spin to the outside of this thing. Got our gasket. It's like an O-ring. And there's a, oh, you can see some solids right there for sure. And inside here, there's a stick. Oh, there it is. Inside here, This is the cup that holds the solids, and if you look, wow, that last run was really solid. Here's what you're going to get from the inside. This is what you're going to get from the oil, the crankcase oil, and it's bad stuff. I really shouldn't have it on my skin, but at this point in my life I'm really not that worried about it.
This is the waste from this whole one run.
So you see the solids. This is what's usually in your motor oil inside your engine, and I'm going to mount one of these filters actually right on my engine to clean the motor oil as well. But basically we're cleaning up this oil to use as fuel for diesel engines. And we're mixing it about 15-20% gasoline to about 80-85% waste motor oil. So that's it. This is probably out of about 30 gallons of oil. That's what's usually inside your motor. The filtration on an engine is not very efficient. It cleans some of it, but this is what's left. This is what's killing your engine. But since we're cleaning the fuel out, this is what we're getting out of it before we mix it and run it for motor oil or motor engine fuel. There you go. We'll clean this thing up, put it back together, filter more oil. Thanks. Okay, we've got the bottom of the unit of the centrifuge unit. There's a alignment mark. We're going to put the O-ring on. Got a little separation disc here. And then we've also got an alignment mark on the cup for it. We're going to line these two marks up. Alright, squeeze it together. We've got a nut that tightens it up. I'll tell you why there's an alignment on this thing in just a second. I'm going to tighten it up. Why there's an alignment? That's how they balance it. They weld a little BB on there and they balance it. They got a spin balancer. They spin this thing out. You don't want something spinning 10,000 RPMs that's even a tenth of a gram out, because it turns into several pounds at that kind of velocity. This thing spins at 10,000 RPMs. That's 2,000 times the force of gravity, 2,000 G. All the solids spin to the outside of this thing. It spins on these jets. Just the pressure of the jets spraying fuel out, it spins. The military used to use this on all their vehicles, on the engines themselves, to filter the crankcase oil out, so they didn't have to use cartridge filters. They just clean these. So that's it in a nutshell. This is the filter, and we'll be showing you more shortly. Well, this is the processor, and we're pumping it out, but as we're pumping, we're still running the centrifuge. You can hear it spinning out. Run it back up to speed here. Spinning about 9,000-10,000 RPMs. And this is how I control the pressure. And this is a safety valve. It's preset factory at 75 pounds per square inch. I pop the cap off of it and run the spring pressure down. It's adjustable. I run it up to about 100-110 pounds per square inch, and it'll blow the oil back in the processor if the filter clogs, the centrifugal filter clogs. But got it in pump out mode. We have to add a couple more valves. This is just clamped off. This is a return back to the pump. Right, we got the truck running on the alternate fuel. There's the totes we're hauling fuel. and we've got it. This is my battery I use usually for the inverter stuff, but it was about dead, so we're jumping it off the truck. Normally we'd have this all charged and ready to roll. Here's the inverter. We just drug it out of the shop. Got the saw plugged in. We're doing a job here. The saws are high amperage draw. It would go without it, but for demonstration purposes, we're not going to plug everything in to the wall outlet because it might not be available. We're going to make the cut. There you got it.